No wrestling at all. Anyone out? Oh, sorry, sorry, sir. No juice,
No walk, I never get on trouble.
You're picking Paddy, then that means you think Paddy is going to take him down. Which, by the way, you're then counting on a lot of luck once he gets there. You know, or a lot of good success once he gets there, keeping him there, submitting him, passing to positions, pounding him out, whatever it is you think's going to happen. But it has to start with the takedown, if you subscribe to that. And meanwhile, the argument would be if it stays on his feet that it would go to Gaethje. Is it that straightforward? I don't think so. And based on what we've seen, I could see where you could come to that conclusion. I'm just sharing, if you follow the sport as a whole, we don't really see that anymore. We don't really see a lot of this, this guy's the better striker and this guy's the better grappler. That's very 1993 thinking. And we've dismissed Paddy for so long.
Anyone close to your level?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter because it's such a crazy sport. It's such a small, it's 25 minutes in time. None of that's gonna matter. Nothing in the future or before is gonna matter. It's gonna be about being perfect right then, right now. I'm going to tell myself every single day that he's coming to hurt me. And that's a mistake I've made in the past where, I thought maybe, I didn't think I was in as much danger as I was. And that is a fatal mistake in this sport. And so I understand how dangerous this kid is. I understand how much he wants this and how hard it's going to be to take it from him.
Paddy Pimblett isn't doing interviews right now. He's locked in at the gym. Every training clip tells the same story: sharper movement, better conditioning, and a way more serious edge than before. This isn't social media cardio or highlight drills. Paddy is grinding real rounds, real pressure, real work. And there's a reason for that. Justin Gaethje does not give second chances. The entire camp is built around pace, pressure, and grit. Because against Gaethje, being tough alone won't save you. You need discipline and structure. Chael Sonnen broke down how the MMA world is split on this fight. He described a room of 4 insiders, 2 leaning Gaethje, 2 backing Pimblett. The shared belief was simple, but dangerous. If Paddy wins, it probably starts with taking Justin down. Chael pointed out how rare that actually is. Getting Gaethje down is hard. Keeping him there and doing damage is even harder. And it raised the real question: are fights ever that simple anymore?
By the way, before we dive in, 99.8% of the people watching right now aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming MMA news. And without further ado, let's dive into it.
Chael Sonnen described a private room full of MMA insiders completely split down the middle. 4 respected voices, 2 backing Justin Gaethje, 2 riding with Paddy Pimblett. The shared belief was clear, though: If Paddy pulls this off, it probably starts with dragging Justin to the mat. Chael quickly pumped the brakes on how easy that sounds. He stressed how rare it is to even take Gaethje down, and even harder to hold him there long enough to make it matter. That's when he dropped the real question. Are fights actually that simple anymore? Or is that kind of thinking outdated in today's game?
And it's 2-2. Two say it's going to be Gaethje, and two says it's going to be Paddy. There was a consensus, though, and I don't know if I agree with this, but I don't know because I haven't really given this a lot of thought. There was a consensus that Paddy has to take Gaethje down, and that if you go back and you look over the history of Gaethje's career, people don't take him down. Right? If you're not named Khabib, you likely don't have a takedown over Justin Gaethje. That's true. That might not be literal, but just like thinking about his career off the top of my head, that sounds close to right. So, do you agree with that much? Do you agree that Paddy has to take him down? And if you're picking Paddy, then that means you think Paddy is going to take him down.
Chael Sonnen didn't brush off Paddy like most critics do. Instead, he focused on something people ignore: how long Pimblett has been winning and how his style has quietly evolved. Paddy isn't just hunting submissions anymore. He's mixing control with damage, slowing fights down and forcing opponents to work. That makes him way harder to read. Chael then shifted to mindset. He brought up how Justin Gaethje has been talking like this is a final push. Not quitting talk, but an all-in, no excuses mentality. That kind of mindset changes how dangerous a fighter becomes.
We've dismissed Paddy for so long. I mean, I feel like we've dismissed him for 8 fights. Is he now 8-0 in the UFC? That's off the top of my head, but I think I'm right. Is he now 4 years in the UFC? That's off the top of my head, but I think I'm right. And yeah, he does favor grappling, but he used to favor grappling to submissions. Now he's favoring grappling to ground and pound. So the only thing that you really learn through that statement is that you don't really know what he's going to do. And he doesn't really do something until somebody shows a defense to what he prefers to do, right? You get your first option, your second option, your third option. Guys are good enough, you never see the third option. It was questioned many times, how good of a striker is Khabib? Well, what difference does it make? I mean, you could tell me that you've never seen him strike, but the other side of the coin is you've never seen anybody stop the takedown, so why would he strike? Like, it gets to be a little bit philosophical. Is there anything we've seen or even heard from training footage from Paddy that says that he can't fight on his feet? No. That's not true.
Michael Bisping weighed in too, but not with X's and O's. His focus was the moment. He pointed out that Paddy Pimblett is walking into the biggest fight of his career with non-stop noise around him: trash talk, backlash, headlines, and constant attention. That attention makes Paddy more famous, but also more disliked. And Bisping made it clear, that kind of energy doesn't help when you're about to fight someone like Justin Gaethje. The spotlight doesn't win rounds, and hype doesn't protect you once the cage door shuts.
I'm not going to defend Paddy, but I'm going to kind of defend him, if you know what I'm saying. Now, he said Dan Hooker's grappling was so bad that he couldn't stop, an attacker going after his mum. You've got to be careful on YouTube what you say. So, we all know John played the clip.
And lad, people are saying like Justin Gaethje, he's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple off his ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statements about Dan Hooker there.
He said that, right, which is a wild line. He was just having a laugh. And I know a lot of people are shocked by this, and I know a lot of people said that's out of bounds, it's off limits, have a bit of respect, you're a trash human being. I mean, all you got to do is have a look on Twitter and some YouTube comments. People are really going after Paddy for this. And obviously Dan Hooker came out with a wild response as well. We'll get to that in a second. But just on Paddy here, you got to remember, he's a lad from Liverpool, where they do have a great sense of humour, but also, it can be a little cutting.
Bisping also shut down the idea that the extra beef really matters. Once the cage closes, he said the fight becomes very simple. If Paddy wins, all the noise disappears and he earns his place among title-level names. If he loses, then all the talking meant nothing and the division keeps moving without him. According to Bisping, the pressure isn't on Justin Gaethje. Justin is already proven. Paddy is the one who still has something to prove, and everyone knows it.
We know Paddy's fighting Justin Gaethje, and if he beats Gaethje, he becomes the interim champion. After that, Dan Hooker's off his radar, right? He will not get to fight Dan Hooker. The only person he's going to fight next is either Ilia Topuria, if Ilia comes back soon, which I hope he does, because he only just became the champion, or it's going to be Arman Tsarukyan, right? Now, Arman Tsarukyan, a lot of people felt that he should have got the title shot. As we know, there was a few circumstances pulling out of the fight. He headbutted Dan Hooker when he beat him recently. And Dana White just kind of like admitted that definitely played a factor into him not getting a title shot.
Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know.
Not being dependable, headbutting your opponents at weigh-ins and stuff like that. It's not a good look, because if that had have opened up a cut on Dan Hooker, the main event, where was it, in Qatar, would have been off. Do you know what I'm saying? So Arman's incredible, right? But Paddy went after him, said that, you know, he's a crap grappler and all the rest of it. I hope he breaks his neck and all that type of shit. He said Dan Hooker almost had him in a guillotine. But anyway, if Paddy beats Justin, none of this matters.
Justin Gaethje talked about this matchup like a man who understands the danger he's in. He didn't focus on hype, he focused on momentum. To Justin, Paddy's confidence and belief are the real threats, not the headlines. Confidence makes fighters take risks, and Gaethje knows that's where fights can flip fast. His plan is discipline, no chaos chasing, no emotional exchanges early. He believes Paddy will make mistakes, but only if he stays patient enough to let them happen.
It already was. I think a lot of the fans understood why you weren't going to fight Paddy Pimblett in a non-championship setting, but now it is for a belt, and that is the fight that is in front of you. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, Paddy Pimblett, I mean, this guy's got a ton of momentum, you know, a ton of confidence, and those are two variables that are tough to beat. I'm going to have to really steal that momentum early and stay in my shell. You know, I know this kid's going to be trying to kill me. And I know he's going to make mistakes, so I have to be ready to take advantage of these mistakes and fight a perfect fight at the highest level.
Gaethje also leaned heavily on experience. He said being younger or undefeated looks good on paper, but paper doesn't win fights. What matters is who stays sharp for all 25 minutes. He called this one of those moments in life where nothing else exists. Not the past, not the odds, not popularity. Justin admitted he's made mistakes before by underestimating danger. This time, he made it clear he's not overlooking anything, not even a second.
Plus in the UFC, he's the younger man. Those things can be factored into a betting line. Have you seen the odds for the fight?
Yeah, I love that I'm an underdog. I think I'm 8-2 or 8-3 as an underdog in the UFC. 2017, I fought the top 5 in the world every year, consistently, and I'm still here. If I wasn't as good as I am, then I wouldn't be here, and I still am here because I am one of the best in the world. It's just such a crazy sport. It's such a small fraction of time. You know, we're talking thousands of minutes till January 24th, and I got to be a 25-minute fight, and you have to be perfect for 25 minutes. And you know, all I can do is prepare mentally, physically, and be thankful when I get there because it's such a crazy sport. But Paddy Pimblett is a very popular guy right now, and it's going to do great things. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the Khabib and Tony thing. I'm going to f this up. You know, Paddy wants to fight Ilia, Ilia wants to fight Paddy. Yeah. That's what they want, but I'm here to f it up again, and that's what I do.
Arman Tsarukyan was very clear about who he wanted to win, and it had nothing to do with hype or fan love. His interest in Justin Gaethje came down to realism. To Arman, Justin represents someone who shows up and takes the hardest fights. No dodging, no shortcuts. He didn't question Paddy's confidence, but he did question his intentions. The idea was simple. If Paddy wins, Arman doesn't believe he'd rush into a fight with someone like him. Arman made it sound like Pimblett might protect his position instead of testing himself against the toughest matchup available. That's why his pick leaned toward Justin. Respect and reality, not style points.
Justin Gaethje is fighting Paddy Pimblett coming up. Who do you favor?
I want Justin to beat Paddy. Yeah. Because that Justin, he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like Justin.
James Lynch leaned toward Paddy Pimblett, mainly because of age, activity, and timing. He kept coming back to the gap between them. Paddy's younger, fighting more often and staying active. Justin Gaethje has slowed down and taken long breaks. Lynch believes that matters a lot in a 5-round fight, especially when one guy has years of brutal wars and the other doesn't.
Tail the tape between these two. Justin Gaethje 26-5, Paddy Pimblett 23-3, 37 years old to 31, so big age gap here. 5'11 to 5'10, 70 to 73. So Paddy Pimblett going to be younger, also will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. But let's start first with the highlight. Justin Gaethje, have a look at this matchup. I did mention it there. It is 5 rounds for the interim title. He is 26-5. He's got 19 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 4 decisions. Currently ranked number 4 in the lightweight division. He'll have a 1-inch height advantage in this fight, but that's about it. He's also a former UFC interim lightweight champion. I believe he'll be the first fighter in UFC history to win 2 interim titles if he does win here. So we'll see how that goes.
Lynch didn't ignore Justin's power, but he didn't treat it like a guarantee either. He acknowledged the danger early for Paddy, especially if Gaethje lands clean. But he pointed out something important. Justin hasn't been finishing everyone lately. The idea that he just walks in and ends it is overplayed. Lynch believes Paddy surviving the early rounds is very realistic. Where he really sided with Pimblett was on the ground. Even though Justin's takedown defense looks solid on paper, Lynch explained that he can be taken down. And once that happens, everything changes fast. Paddy's record shows he finishes fights there. Jorge Masvidal, on the other hand, leans strongly toward Justin Gaethje because of experience. He talked about how Justin has already lived through the hardest fights, real pressure and pure chaos at the top level. To Jorge, Justin knows what ugly feels like. Paddy is still learning that. He made it clear this wasn't about hype or personality. What stood out was how Justin reacts when things go wrong. According to Jorge, Justin doesn't panic, even when he gets clipped or dragged into messy moments. And unless Paddy takes control early, Gaethje's pressure and pace will slowly take over. This fight is being built as much in the gym as it is in the cage, especially for Paddy. His training shows focus, discipline, and real preparation. No fake hype, no show-off rounds. Justin brings pressure, power, and battle-tested experience. Paddy brings confidence, creativity, and a game plan drilled every day. This fight is explosive from the opening bell. One mistake, one scramble, one moment, and everything flips.